guys, it's Tika and welcome back to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you can be notified every time I post a new delicious video. So today we are going to be making the easiest mini cakesicles that we have ever made, all in honor of us reaching 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to all of you who tune in every week and have joined the family. And if you haven't had a chance yet, I mean, you just push the button. So like I was saying, these are going to be the easiest cakesicles we have ever made. For these cakesicles, you're only going to need 2 ingredients. That's 4. Two ingredients. You are going to need some mini cupcakes. I have here a dozen mini cupcakes that I just picked up from the store. If you would like to make your own, you can. But if you want to keep this really simple, I would suggest store-bought. And you're also going to need some chocolate melts. You can use any color that you want. Today I'm going to be using the confetti mixture. And I'm also going to be using a few different molds to create some really cute designs. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to begin with the filling portion of this recipe today. I am using these pink cupcakes, and about 6 of these mini cupcakes will run you about 5 mini cakesicles. I'm going to take a small spatula and I'm going to scrape off exactly half of this frosting. And I'm just going to scrape the rest of this into a separate bowl. Then I'm going to peel my cupcake and just plop it right in. And then I'm just going to do the rest. And then I'm just going to take a fork and scramble up these cupcakes until I get the consistency that I am looking for in a cakesicle or cake pop filling. And if you happen to notice while you're mixing that it seems a little dry, you can grab some of that leftover frosting that we have and just add a teeny drop at a time until you get to the consistency that you are looking for. And this is perfect. You want it to be able to hold its shape, but you don't want it to be too mushy, and you definitely don't want it to be too dry. So this is good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on our chocolate. I have my confetti chocolate melts and I'm just going to add those right in. I'm also going to be using a little bit of this teal colored blue and just some pink. And I'm going to go ahead and agitate my chocolate a little bit so that it melts a little bit faster and get that nice and creamy. As I was mixing my chocolate, I did notice that this confetti chocolate is a bit on the thick side. It's very chunky and just it's not creamy at all. So I decided to add in a few chips of my Ghirardelli chocolate just to smooth it out and cream it out a little bit so it's a little easier to work with. So if you do pick up this chocolate, I would suggest keeping that in mind because it just, I don't know, I'm used to chocolate working a little better than that, but it's all good now. We're gonna go ahead and get started making our shells. So I have my mini mold here and I'm just gonna start off with a scoop of this chocolate. And then using my favorite tap method, I'm just going to work that through the mold until it is nice and even and has a perfect little shell going around. Now I am leaving the bottom portion right here empty. And we'll explain that a little bit later, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the rest of these really quickly. Then I am going to take a popsicle stick and I am just going to take some of this chocolate that has pulled down at the bottom and run it up the sides. Once my cakesicle has had a chance to kind of get a little tacky, this helps to reinforce the edges so that your cakesicles don't fall apart at the seam or have cracking around the edges. Then I'm just going to give this a little tap just to make sure there aren't any empty spaces at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and add my sticks in now. As I've said many times, my miniature mold is very tight on the sticks, so I like to add them in while my cakesicle is still nice and wet so I don't risk cracking it later. Now at this point you can leave them on the counter so that they can dry over and get nice and hard, or you can place them into the freezer for just a few minutes. But once everything is nice and hardened up, you can go ahead and start adding in your cake filling. And I'm just going to use a popsicle stick to kind of level everything off so it has a nice flat surface. And I'm also going to create a little space down here at the bottom of my Cakesicle, which I will explain a little bit more later. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and gently reinsert my stick here, making sure that I do not crack the rest of the shell around my cake, and finish the rest of these up. Now that we are all finished, I can show you what this little extra space is for. So I like to leave this open as a little bit more reinforcement down here where the stick is inserted. I've noticed that with my mini mold, like I said before, it's really tight on the sticks. So having this extra space ensures that when I'm removing this from the mold, it won't crack later. It just keeps everything nice and secure. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that space is nice and full. And then I'm just going to run chocolate up the back of my Cakesicle and finish the rest of these off. And these are all ready to go into the freezer. And while those are freezing over, I'm just going to go ahead and start working on the decorations. So I have some really pretty powder blue fondant here. And I'm just going to take this flower punch and I'm going to punch out a couple of flowers. And I love this punch because it leaves a cute little center, and it also kind of makes the petals kind of stick up so it looks a little bit more natural. I'm also going to take a number 1. I already have a couple of zeros here in my bowl to make 1,000, and I'm just going to punch that out. And then the last decoration is really simple. I'm going to take this flower mold that I have here, and I'm just going to place a few drops of fondant into this particular flower. Then I'm just going to slide that out of my mold. And there we go. I'm just going to finish off this little teeny flower right here with a little leftover royal icing that I have. I'm just going to squirt a little in the center. And now we're ready to decorate. So I have carefully removed all of my Cakesicles from the mold, and we're going to keep the designs very simple. I'm going to take that pink chocolate from earlier, and I have it in a piping bag, and I'm just going to drizzle it over one corner of my Cakesicles. Then I'm going to take some blue and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to run this over one corner of our Cakesicles. Then I'm going to top this off with a couple of sprinkles. And with a little bit of chocolate as glue, then I'm just going to go ahead and glue on all the cute little fondant decorations that we made earlier.
And that's it for today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers and for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.